Welcome to the topic Telangana formation, Telangana movement and Telangana formation. This is very interesting topic. We have a special occasion because Telangana is a new state. Most of the states which are formed much earlier might have one topic included in the entire history, but today we are dealing Telangana formation or Telangana movement separately as a separate paper in many of the TSPS examinations. That is why Telangana movement and Telangana formation is a separate paper and which has a lot of things to be discussed, lot of things to be learnt and lot of things to be analyzed. So, Telangana formation is because of the movement. Telangana movement, which is a 6-decade-old movement starting in 1950s and ending in 2014. The culmination of the 6+ decades struggle culminated in the formation of Telangana. So why we have to study separately about Telangana formation? Many of the states are there in the country. Why we talk about Telangana formation in a separate paper? It is because Telangana has distinctive features. We will be studying those distinctive features in this first day, in this first topic. And Telangana's prime position or a special position in the entire Indian history context is completely unique. We are not part of the British Indian history. We were just the Nizam's dominion or Hyderabad state or Nizam state, whatever we called. We were not part of the British Indian history. So our history was completely different for at least 200+ years. Though we have some common history with all the surrounding areas like Andhra Pradesh of today or Karnataka or Maharashtra, Telangana has emerged as a separate distinctive area in the course of time. That is why Telangana formation deals from the beginning, and we have the understanding that Telangana is distinct because Telangana movement is always talking about one question, that is the right of Telangana people to rule themselves. Right of the Telangana people to own the resources, to have the employment in this area, to access all the resources and funds to develop this region. This was the thing. So Telangana movement, actually we have this understanding that there is a mantra like thing, 3 words, Nilu, Nidulu, Niyamakalu, water, resources and employment. These 3 are the crucial or key words of Telangana movement in the entire last phase we have seen. So these 3 words, Nilu, Nidulu, Niyamakalu, that is water, resources and employment. Sharing of these things or owning of these things or exploiting these things are on the agenda for the last 6 decades before the formation of Telangana. But Telangana and Andhra, you can understand Rayalaseema along with Andhra. When I am saying Andhra, it is the Andhra state of 1953, before 1956. Andhra plus Rayalaseema is equal to Andhra or present day Andhra Pradesh. The only claim of Andhra unification is our anti-Telangana movement was, they said, and they are saying, and they said for the past 5 decades that we have only one language, Telugu. So Telugu one language, so one state. But this logic was not applied by Fazal Ali Commission. This logic was not the reality for which Andhra Pradesh state has been formed. There are many different reasons we will be studying about in the next classes. Telangana was merged with Andhra in a separate context. But Telangana people always said, we are distinct. That is what we are going to discuss today. So, under Telangana identity, and I am using the term vibrancy, though TSPSC has given a different title like Telangana as a distinctive cultural unit and everything, I call this as Telangana identity and vibrancy. What is vibrancy? Telangana has lots of things to display. Telangana has lots of things which are completely unique. Telangana has lots of things which are the result of mixture of different cultures, which we don't find in other areas. That's why Telangana is vibrant. And Telangana identity is completely separate. So in this topic, we'll be dealing with Telangana as a distinctive cultural unit in Hyderabad princely state, its geographical, cultural, socio-political and economic features. And when we talk about the vibrancy, people of Telangana, under people of Telangana heading, we'll be talking about the castes, tribes, religions, arts and crafts, languages, dialects, fairs, festivals and important places. Of course, talking about Telangana important places will take at least 3 or 4 hours of study. So I am not talking about that topic today. Important places in Telangana I am not going to touch. But in future, whenever we are talking about Telangana formation, some of the areas which are covering here will be understood. At the same time, in Telangana history class, you have all the important places in Telangana in detail. So let's go into the topic. Telangana is a distinctive cultural unit in Hyderabad state. What are the different headings under which we can understand Telangana's different culture or identity? One is geographical. First thing is geography. Why first is geography? It's because the Earth's formation and our geographical formation, our rocks, our soil, our waters, all these things contributed to our uniqueness. So we'll be dealing with the geographical features, then economic and historical, then political and socio-cultural. All these are flowing one after the other. So let's talk about the geographical features of Telangana. Telangana is a very interesting region, very important region, very crucial region. If we forget about the people, you see the map, geography, you don't see any people or anything, rocks, soils, rivers and the entire terrain. In this entire terrain, you can see Telangana at a distinctive juncture where this is north of south and at the same time this is south of north. Means you are having both the unique cultures. Deccan, now I am using the word Deccan. Telangana is part of Deccan Plateau. Deccan is also completely different. Deccan Plateau is the plateau which is having its unique presence immediately below Vindhyas and below the southern peninsula. Southern peninsula and Vindhyas, you have this Deccan Plateau. In this Deccan Plateau, we have Telangana region. Telangana is the region which is on the northeastern part of the Deccan Plateau, which is covering around 1,48,000 square kilometers, and on north-south length it is 770 and east-west width it is 515 kilometers. Means it's a huge area. When I am talking about huge area, it is not Deccan, it is Telangana I am talking about. Telangana Plateau is this much. Deccan Plateau is much bigger. So when we talk about Deccan Plateau geographically, if Deccan Plateau is considered as a geographical territory below Vindhyas, above southern peninsula, Telangana is the core of Deccan Plateau because many things like economic, historical, cultural and political, everything are centered on Telangana region. You can take one simple example. For example, Hyderabad. Hyderabad is the junction for the north and for the south also. Telangana, you have to cross through Warangal if you have to go to east or you have to go to west. So Warangal or Hyderabad, these things which are main junctions in Telangana region are exactly located at a strategic point. That is why Telangana, I give you a formulation. Telangana is the core of Deccan and Hyderabad is the soul of Telangana. Remember this, and this is the mantra for your Telangana formation because Hyderabad is the key for Telangana formation. If we were ready to lose Hyderabad, Telangana would have been formed long back. But why it could not form, why they were not ready to concede the demand of separate Telangana is Hyderabad. So that is why I am again locating Hyderabad in Telangana and locating Telangana in Deccan. That is the strategic thing I am doing in geographical territory. Then we have Eastern Ghats into Telangana, we have Western Ghats also coming into Telangana. We have plains, we have rivers, rivulets and forests. That is why geographically also it's not simple and plain. It is vibrant. You have different things. But the basic essence of this we will talk about is this is semi-arid zone because of the plateau. Now coming to the other geographical features of Telangana, the most important thing is Deccan Plateau is the oldest plateau on the face of earth. This is one of the oldest places which got solidified when the earth was getting solidified. So you can see our formation is around 2500 million years old when the earth's crust solidified. And this solidified one, the molten magma, when it is coming out of the earth, hardened under the crust and forming into domes and sheets of granite. We call it as granite. If you go to any village, any rural area or masons, they call it as ganetrai. Ganetrai means granite. Granite is the form of rock we are talking about. Ganetrai is the word our masons use when they are putting the stone in the basement or making the stone into pieces, into concrete. Granite is very solid and rock stone. Since this is the oldest area, you have granite here all over the Deccan, and especially in Telangana region. Go to any village, you will find rocks. And very interesting, Hyderabad is a rock garden. If you go to many areas still where rock is still present, where the rock areas or rocky regions were not engulfed by the real estate, you can see the rocks. We have different types of rocks. We have mushroom rock, we have tortoise rock. There is a Save Rock Society in Hyderabad which is working on the preservation of rocks of Hyderabad. Why I am talking about rocks is this is our geography. Rocks are our identity. This is the solid region. And the region which is having rocks will beget a civilization. Remember this. I'll talk when I am talking about history or other topics. Solid rocks and rivulets or rivers or streams. This is the very, very congenial atmosphere for the civilization to beget, civilization to come up, civilization to grow. That is why Telangana has the ancient civilization in this Deccan region. We'll talk about this in detail in Telangana history or some other topic. But this is the important aspect about geography. Then Sahyadri ranges, which extends from northwest direction into Adilabad, and eastern Ghats will extend into Khammam. If you imagine the map of Telangana, you can see Adilabad as one side and Khammam on the other side. These two ranges are extending into Telangana. This is the only state where east and west, both Ghats are meeting into one state. And eastern Ghats in Khammam, we call it as Papikondalu. Now it is going to be submerged because of Polavaram. That is a tragedy. Then, about the borders, we have Maharashtra to the north, Chhattisgarh to the east, Karnataka to the west, AP to the east and south. To the east means you have this east, from Khammam you have East Godavari and these areas, West Godavari, and this side you have south, you have Rayalaseema regions. Mahbubnagar to west you have Rayalaseema regions. And our rock formations of Telangana is known as Gondwana rocks, remember. Gondwana region, one of the old thing we are talking geographically, that is Jurassic age, much before Jurassic age. You have Gondwana formation, Australia, Africa and Telangana and the part of India, this is together and gradually drifted away, and we call this as Gondwana region. And the Gondwana rocks is another term we talk about with reference to Telangana. And because of this oldest formation and one of the richest soils and these things, you have iron ore, you have dolomite, we have granite, coal, limestone, etc. Each district, there is no district in Telangana which has no ore or something, metals. You have one or the something. If you don't have many things, you have limestone. Go to Vikarabad, we have limestone. We have Shabad stones for flooring. That is Rangareddy district. Like that, you have different rich mineral and natural resources in Telangana. Then coming to our rivers, Godavari, Krishna, as we know, the biggest rivers, which are being shared with Andhra Pradesh too, which we are sharing with Maharashtra or Karnataka too, because that is the above, and below we have Andhra Pradesh. Krishna and Godavari, both rivers are our lifelines. We will talk about why these are lifelines when I am dealing with history. Then coming to the other rivers, Upanadulu, rivulets like Manjira. Manjira, which is another important river, which is merging with Godavari, and Penganga, Vardha, Vainganga. These things are merging to form Pranahita. Pranahita is a river that is really the wonderful name Pranahita. Pranahita, life, a friend of life. Pranahita is the river which is meeting Godavari at Kaleshwaram, that we are calling as Triveni Sangamam. So Pranahita, and we have many other rivers like Maneru, Krishna. Krishna, when we talk about Krishna, Krishna is Mahabubnagar and Nalgonda. Huge area. We have Mahabubnagar and Nalgonda. This complete valley is rich in biodiversity, rich in cultural diversity too. In Telangana history, we talk about Krishna Valley with reference to the latter phase of Buddhism with a large extent. So Krishna Valley has the Paleolithic cultures and this one. We'll talk much about when I am going to deal about the history. Then 𝗚𝗧𝗎, starting from Anantagiri Hills and merging with Krishna at Vadapalli in Nalgonda. And at Vadapalli, it is merging and it is entering into sea as part of Krishna. So Tungabhadra, which is flowing into Mahabubnagar, and many rivulets like Aleru, Bikkeru, Munneru, Paleru, Musetivagu, and rivers like Kinnerasani, which are important and flowing into Bhadrachalam, Kottagudem, Bhadrachalam district today. Kinnerasani, a big dam. All this, Kinnerasani is another river. Like that, these rivers are very, very important resources of water in Telangana. Then coming to our economic features of Telangana, when we talk about economy, what is the basis of economy? What aspect do you call it as economy? Basically, agriculture is the first aspect of economy. Commerce, trade, industry, these things are the development in the latter stage in the whole society, in the whole world. So agriculture is the basis for economy. So when you are talking about agriculture, our agriculture is based on the type of agriculture which is done in semi-arid zones, semi-arid tropics like that. We have 𝗖𝗍. Do you know what is 𝗖𝗍 full name? International Center for Research on Crops of Semi-Arid Tropics. That is 𝗖𝗍. Semi-arid. Remember this word. We are not in the delta. We are semi-arid zones, rain-fed and dry areas. So semi-arid zones, we have separate type of agriculture. That is why, apart from paddy, we grow jawar, jonnalu, millets, cereals, oil seeds, trunadhanyalu, pappudhanyalu, oil seeds, nuneginjalu, cotton, sugarcane, fruit plantations. You have a wide variety of plantations as a mixed crop. This is the vibrancy, and tragedy is now we lost it and we are completely into monocrop. That is what we will discuss when we talk about other things in Telangana, like agriculture, crisis in agriculture. But what our geography gave us, our geography gave us a vibrancy. That vibrancy is nothing but you can grow a wide range of a basket where you have a wide range of food grains, wide range of millets, which gives the perfect nutritional value to your body. Unfortunately, we lost it and we are eating only carbohydrate of rice, and we have our sugar, diabetes and all those things. Telangana was eating jowar more than paddy. That is what our semi-arid crop pattern and food habits are. Then, when we come to rural scenario, what are the best big things or basic things for economy? One is agriculture. Second thing is artisans. Agriculture is one thing and artisans are another thing. Artisans are dependent on rural economy in the beginning, and they grow as production centers and finally come into factories in the next stage. So our rural economy is agriculture, artisan based, and mining too. Mining is another aspect. Mining need not be the modern mining, but even in ancient times or medieval times, mining was there. Mining definitely was a pattern of economy. And our agriculture is mainly dependent on rains and river basins. So we have a special feature, that is we have to depend on minor irrigation through tanks, wells, smaller canals. Plateau, when water is going, water always flows down. This is a plateau which is on higher side. So you can't have water flowing to up. So what we have to do? We have to lift the water. Now we have lift irrigation schemes, but in those days you don't have lift. So we have lift systems which are traditional, but that is river based. But what about the substitutes in semi-arid zones when river is not in full stream? Our best resources are the minor irrigation resources. What are the minor irrigation resources? We have wells. Every village had well. According to some statistics, in early years, that is early years of 19th century or 20th century, every village had 70 wells in every village. We don't have 70 wells. We have 100 bore wells, which is squeezing the water from the groundwater. So 70 wells per village. Motabavulu we call, or 𝗬𝗏 Motabavulu, all these are sources for our water. And tanks, cheruvulu. Kakatiya period, the best period. And apart from Kakatiya, the people who were ruling smaller region along with Kakatiya, Kanduru Choda, these people focused on the tanks. They have constructed tanks. They maintained it, and tanks were very important for them. That is why agriculture in Telangana could flourish. And connecting the tanks with small canals, rivulets, and major rivers. You have a network of irrigation. This is our economic feature. Irrigation is an important aspect of economy. If you don't have irrigation, you don't have agriculture. So Telangana depended on this. That is how we are different from Andhra region. To some extent, we are similar with Rayalaseema, but with Andhra region, we are completely different. Andhra's development of economy in terms of irrigation has taken a different mode. So Telangana's irrigation is different. That is where in Telangana formation paper, we will be reading why the irrigation sector of Telangana was completely ignored and what were the fallacies of the policies. Why minor irrigation was ignored. If you ignore minor irrigation, Telangana will diminish. Telangana's agriculture will not flourish. This is what we have seen. So this is the basic features of economy of Telangana. Next, economic features of Telangana, if we talk about trade, since Shatavahana times, trade flourished. We have Roman gold coins. Where did we get Roman gold coins? We got Roman gold coins in Kondapur, present Sangareddy district, Yeleshwaram, Nalgonda district. We have got Roman coins in Dhulikatta, that is Karimnagar district. So we have Roman trade in Shatavahana times. It means our trade flourished. In Telangana history, we will be talking about our cloth was going to Roman Empire and they were giving us gold and silver. And in their Senate, they were talking about it. And the debate was going like this: we are shamelessly giving away our gold and silver to them in the sense Shatavahanas, that is our people. Shamelessly giving the gold and silver to them for the want of a thin cloth like cobweb. Cobweb ante salegudu, salepurugu gudu. So very thin, beautifully woven cloth, that is anta palchati cloth kosam. The trade was going on. That is what these people are saying. So Shatavahana period we traded with Roman Empire, until middle of 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 period, till the entry of British, till the subjugation of these areas by British or making them dependent, we were trading with the entire world. This is very important. Our knives were going to Damascus because we could produce a best quality of wood steel, and wood steel best quality will definitely give you the best sword, which very sharp edge. And our swords were sold in Damascus market till medieval period. So industry developed till the last phase of 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 period, and artisan class flourished. These are the trade related aspects. But to conclude, what do I say is, this is a feudal region or feudal state. Always it is a feudal state. Feudal means kings are ruling. Till 1948 there was Nizam, he was a king, he is a feudal Raja. He is not a democratically elected one. So feudal state, and the mode of exploitation is feudal exploitation. In feudal exploitation, the rural agricultural scenario will be exploited by the landlords. That is the basic character of Telangana. That is why when you have seen Telangana armed struggle in 1946 to 51, we are talking about the feudal exploitation and struggle against feudalism. So remember this, as this is one of the key economic features of Telangana. Lots of things are like how revenue things are there, but that is not part of economy. If we understand this economy, revenue or different methods, different types of tax collection, that will form the economy. So this is the economic feature of Telangana. Then coming to historical features. Historical features is very, very interesting. Telangana as a whole has a history from prehistoric times. We have Stone Age cultures. Stone Age culture means lower Paleolithic, upper Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic, all the Paleolithic ages. And very interestingly, we have our own dinosaur. No other areas in this region found a dinosaur skeleton, and we are having it in Hyderabad. Our dinosaur is 𝗂𝗽𝗓𝗺 Dinosaurs fossil, completely fossilized dinosaur skeleton is found in Adilabad, Yamanpalli. That is of Jurassic age. Jurassic age dinosaur is found on Adilabad. That is why our age, our history goes back to prehistoric periods. So, prehistoric period, we have two river valleys, Godavari and Krishna. This Godavari and Krishna river valley, these two river valleys are begetting a civilization, greater civilization. What is this greater civilization? Means if you have river valleys, you have rocks, it is not completely flooded region, it is not delta, it is not forest, then that is convenient for the civilization to grow. That is why if you see all the civilizations, whether it is Egyptian or Chinese or Mesopotamian or Indus Valley, we see it is not on the heavily flooded regions. It is the regions like this only. That is why civilization has grown. Lower Paleolithic to Upper Paleolithic, we have different stories to tell. And Krishna and Godavari, both the regions have evolved the Paleolithic tools. And Paleolithic to Neolithic, I am talking about the latter period, Neolithic. From Neolithic means that is the last stage of the Stone Ages. In Neolithic period, you have Iron Age in Telangana. Iron is the major aspect which has given Telangana the edge to begin a first kingdom, that is Shatavahanas. And we have iron. Where did we find? We are finding these iron tools in megalithic burials. Megalithic age is not different from Iron Age. Iron Age, megalithic age, Neolithic phase. These are same. Neolithic is the last phase, New Stone Age. In the New Stone Age, we have Iron Age. And Iron Age is always in Telangana a megalithic age too. What do you mean by megalithic? We have big boulders which are kept on the graves. Cairns means circular boulders kept in a circle, or menhirs, a tall stone as a memorial pillar, or dolmens, a house-like structure with 4 slabs and 1 roof with holes on 4 sides and grave inside. Cyst burials, all these are megalithic burials. So these megalithic burials are nothing but the Telangana or Dakhini culture, important, where you have this great megalithic culture. In Telangana, you go to any village, you will find megaliths, completely. That is what I can say. You don't have megaliths as many as you find in Telangana or Deccan Plateau, anywhere else in the country. So we have megalithic culture. We have rock art. Pandavula Gutta is a much bigger rock art complex. Pandavula Gutta. You have from Paleolithic to Mesolithic to Kakatiya period, you have paintings, rock art paintings are there in Pandavula Gutta. That is, those paintings are giving us the understanding of how people lived in those periods. Paleolithic is ranging from 250,000 years old and come up to 50,000. At least if you take back this history to around 50,000 or 60,000 also, we have a continuous history of this period till Mesolithic, Neolithic phase. So we have rock structures, we have storage cultures, and we have prehistory. Then coming to the next historic part, we have Shatavahanas. Before Shatavahanas, we have pre-Shatavahana kingdom. Pre-Shatavahanas, then Ikshvaku, pre-Shatavahana, Shatavahana, Ikshvaku, Vishnukundi. Along with Vishnukundi, you have Vakataka, Badami Chalukya, Rashtrakuta, Vemulavada Chalukya, Kalyani Chalukya, Kakatiya, Bahmani, Kakatiya, Padmanayaka, Bahmani, Qutub Shahi, and Asafzahi. So these dynasties or kingdoms flourished from Telangana. Telangana is having a strong bond with all these dynasties. Rashtrakuta, though they have the capital in Maharashtra, Rashtrakuta culture is Maharashtra or Karnataka, that area, and we have Vemulavada Chalukyas to represent Rashtrakutas. Like that. In Deccan Plateau, Telangana has a great link, and we had a continuity in all the dimensions, all the periods. We have great kingdoms like Shatavahana, a big empire. Kakatiya, Qutb Shahi and Asaf Zahi. Hyderabad or Telangana has given these four kingdoms. That is the distinctiveness of Telangana. So, this is nothing but a connect between north and south and played an important role in Deccan polity in medieval period too. When we talk about Asaf Zahi, Qutb Shahi or Bahmani, we have played an important role. And in the last phase, continued as a princely state under the British rule till the last phase. Till the last phase means even till 1948. India became independent on August 15th, 1947. And 1947, Hyderabad was a separate country. It was not part of British India, so it was not part of Indian independent territory. So it was part of the princely state. So from the beginning, you have a distinctive feature. How it is different from Telangana? How Telangana is different from Andhra in terms of history, we will discuss in the latter segment. But understand one thing, historically, Telangana has its beginning in prehistory, in Paleolithic periods, and a continuity in both Krishna Valley and Godavari Valley. Krishna and Godavari Valley, if I am saying, include Manjira or Musi or Tungabhadra or all the rivulets and other things as a network of rivers. So, these rivers and this geography has given rise to Telangana in historical times. When Telangana people wanted to have a separate state, Andhra argument was, we are Telugus and we have a common history, so we can't be separate, we can't be in different states. Is it a reality where Andhra and Telangana was under same dynasty for continuous years or thousands of years and we have a cultural uniqueness and everything continuity? No, it's not true. If you see Telangana history, you have different periods where Telangana and Andhra were completely separate. For example, if you take the beginnings of Shatavahanas, the rise of Shatavahanas happened in North Telangana. Kotalingala is the first capital of the Shatavahanas. Many of the Andhra books still give it as Srikakulam in Krishna district, or they say Vidarbha is the home. They are not ready to accept, to simply say one reason why Telangana should be separate, because we were ignored. This is what the ignoring aspect of ignoring Telangana started from prehistoric times. They are not even ready to accept that Shatavahanas were the people who started their journey from Telangana. That is why they are not ready to accept Kotalingala. They are not mentioning in the books, many of the books which are written by Andhra historians, even today not mentioning that Kotalingala is the first capital of Shatavahana. That is the tragedy. Now, coming to Shatavahana to next phase. After Shatavahanas, Ikshvakus were there. Shatavahanas ruled both Andhra and Telangana of present day. But Ikshvakus were only in the Krishna Valley. Telangana was part of Vakataka. So that is why we are different. Vakatakas, most of the area in Telangana was under Vakatakas because South Telangana and part of the Krishna Valley was not under completely into Ikshvaku. So what is happening? Vakatakas are ruling this area, Telangana, and Vakataka history is completely left to Maharashtra history, and our history has been ignored. So after Shatavahanas, what happened to Telangana? No one will tell. So Vakataka history should be included, and Vakataka history is part of Telangana history. And Ikshvakus ruled only Krishna Valley. Then after Ikshvakus, you have Vishnukundis. Vishnukundis are rising from Telangana region, this Amrabad region, Achampet region, but rising in Krishna Valley. Again, Kesaragutta, Tumalagudem, Hyderabad region, and all this is Miryalaguda. This is what Vishnukundis beginning rule. And Vishnukundi is then extended to Andhra. So again, you can see a change from here. After Vishnukundis, you have different thing, Badami Chalukyas. Badami Chalukyas capital in Badami, that is Karnataka. And Telangana was part of Badami Chalukyan rule. Andhra was won by Badami Chalukyan king, Pulakeshi II, and carved out his kingdom into Eastern Chalukyas, that is Vengi Chalukyas. From then onwards, till Kakatiya period, you don't have any commonality with Andhra, up to Kakatiyas again. From Badami Chalukyan, Pulakeshi II carving out of the eastern side, that is Andhra side, to his brother, and Vengi Chalukyan kingdom has been established separately. Since then, Andhra dynasty is different from Hyderabad, Telangana region, and we have Rashtrakutas here, we have Vemulavada Chalukyas here, and we have Kalyani Chalukyas here. And in Andhra, they had Vengi Chalukyan and continued into Chalukya Chola kingdom, and finally you have Kakatiyas. So thus, there is a lot of difference in history. From Badami Chalukya means it's almost 6 centuries of distance, different dynasties. Then again in Kakatiyas we are one. Under Kakatiya kingdom, Telangana and up to complete Andhra, up to Nellore, this Krishna district, and the entire regions were taken away by, were ruled by Kakatiyas. So Kakatiya again a joint thing. In Qutub Shahi period, you have commonality. Under Qutub Shahi period also, we have Andhra regions with us. But in Asaf Shahi period again, lot of regions, Andhra. Why lot? Most of the Andhra region was ceded to British in different periods, different times, under different reasons, with different pretexts. So automatically you have common periods, that is Shatavahana, then we have Kakatiya, common period, then Qutub Shahi, whole lot of common period. But Asaf Shahi again, at least 50% of the Asaf Shahi period, we are not under one state, or one state in the sense, not modern state I am talking, state in the sense, a kingdom I am talking here. So this is the diversity, this is the difference we have between, with Andhra. It is not one kingdom. So Telugus were not under one kingdom. That is why we say Telangana is historically different from Andhra. Then come to the socio-cultural character of Hyderabad. Our topic says the distinctive character of Hyderabad in Deccan, Hyderabad state. Hyderabad state means what? Marathwada, Karnataka and Telangana. So these three together is Hyderabad state. In Hyderabad state, our Telangana's, Hyderabad and Telangana's socio-cultural character is completely different. Deccan culture is completely different. It is different from all the other regions. That is why Dakhani is a word. It is not Deccan, it is Dakhani. Many people pronounce it as Deccan, Deccan. It is not Deccan, it is Dakhan. Dakhan, Dakhan, Dakshin, Dakhan. And Deccan gets a word which is known as Dakhani. Dakhani culture is a culture. It is different from the other regions. Dakhani Urdu is different. It is different from Urdu of Lucknow. Dakhani food is different. It is different from the foods of North India. Though you have a tinge of North Indian taste, Dakhani food is different. Like that, Deccan has a separate character. This is the socio-cultural character of our Hyderabad. Let's talk about a word which is known as composite culture. What do you mean by composite culture? Composite culture means mixture of cultures. From post-Kakatiya periods, we can see composite culture. Who contributed to this composite culture? Bahmanis, Qutub Shahis, Asaf Zahis, Mughals, everyone contributed to this composite culture. Without that, we would have been a different culture, unlike the other areas, surrounding areas. Hyderabad has Indo-Islamic architecture. Hyderabad has Urdu. Hyderabad has different tastes which are completely a composite one. And we call it as Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. There is no Ganga or Jamuna flowing in Deccan. But Ganga and Jamuna meeting is a great meeting of two great rivers. That is a symbol. That is why we call Telangana's culture as Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. Then we have all religions, Hindus, Muslims, Christians. Christians came along with the European or British. We have a Frenchman, our own man. For example, you take Musa Rambagh. Musa Rambagh is nothing but Monsieur Raymond Bagh has become Musa Rambagh. We have a French, we have British, we have residence palaces, we have Anglo-Indian community in Secunderabad. We have churches which are coming up in the latter stage of Asaf Zahis. Then Muslim, of course, we are having Muslim culture, Indo-Islamic culture, and Muslims as a group of religious people coming into Deccan from Bahmani period onwards. So, Hindu, Muslim, Christian are the major religions. Unfortunately, Buddhist, which is a major religion in Telangana, has lost its identity or its existence by 6th century, and of course gradually diminishing and finally losing by 10th century. You don't have Buddhists here. Jains were there till Kakatiya period as a major religion, but coming to the latter part in Hyderabad state, the religions which are major are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, and Parsi, Jain, Sikh are minor religions. And among Muslims, Shia is the major sect in Hyderabad. Then Sufi tradition, Sufi means love. Sufi is a tradition. It is again a Bhakti movement product. It's a Bhakti. It is Sufi is nothing but love or devotion to God ultimately. So Sufi tradition is located in Hyderabad in terms of dargahs, in terms of our ghazals, urs, and all the traditions we have Sufi. Muharram is a Shia tradition. In Telangana, Hindus observe or follow Muharram and mourn the martyrs of Islamic history. This is what our composite culture is. So, again, talking about the other people, other groups like from North India, Kayastha, Khatri, Marwadi, and all these people came. Kayastha, Khatri, and Marwadi, these people came as employees, as some businessmen or technicians in the latter part of the 𝗳𝗏 period and settled, and they have brought rich, vibrant cultures into Hyderabad. Begum Bazaar, you have a vibrancy. And most of the old city areas, you can see the North Indians having their culture integrated completely into Telangana, which is not happening or happened with Andhras in the latter part. That is why Telangana is fighting with Andhras as they are subjugating the Telangana culture. But others got mingled and not dominating. It's a mixture, a compositeness we have in Telangana. Then as far as languages are concerned, we have Telugu, Urdu, Marathi, Kannada. We have all the languages spoken nearby areas here. We have little tradition and great tradition. What do you mean by little tradition? The tribal or folk culture, village goddesses, or tribal fairs. All these things fall under little tradition. And great tradition means the established religious aspects are great tradition. This is a sociological term. So little or great tradition. Telangana has a great little tradition. Our Bonalu is a form of little tradition. For 1 month we have festivities. Batkamma is of little tradition. Many aspects of Telangana culture completely reflect that little tradition and folk and tribal. Medaram Samaka Saraka Jatara of little tradition, and you have a biggest gathering in the Asia, and you have a great fair in many areas like it is Mallanna Jatara or Kurumurti or anything. So little tradition has an important role to play in Telangana. Then about the caste, Telangana is not different from the other areas of India. You have the same process of Aryanization, Varna system coming in, especially during the 6th century or 5th century BC, but not established completely. But in history, we see the Aryanization or Varna system coming into existence in Shatavahana history. From Chimuka period, we can take the Aryanization aspect or Varna system entering, like Chimuka or any Shatavahana king performing the Vedic rituals, and gradually the names from the native Dravidian or native Shatavahana names or pre-Shatavahana names changing into Sanskritized names in the next phase. That is what we could see in that period. So from Shatavahana period, a gradual Aryanization is happening. That is why we call Shatavahana phase as a peaceful Aryanization phase. With Aryanization, you are having the caste system entering into Dakkan. With the Aryanization, you have got the caste system entering into Telangana. And in the first phase, you don't have the caste as we see today. So gradually, the formulation of caste system, if we say broadly, by the time of Vishnu Kundis, caste system got established, and upper caste and BC caste have its beginning from 1000 BC. You can see Reddy, Velama, Kamma, all these castes getting separate identity from Kakatiya, post-Kakatiya periods. So the evolution of caste into subcastes, Chaturvarna into number of subcastes, number of castes or subcastes is happening post 1000 AD. Gradual process. So this is about it. And Sanskritization of caste we have. Like how do you have Sanskritization of caste? For example, barber community taking up the title of Naye Brahmana. Artisan class, which is goldsmith, taking up the title Vishwa Brahmana. Or even woodcraft, the people, means Vadrangi, Vadlolu antam Telanganalo. Vadlolu, they are taking the title of Vishwa Brahmana. So this is Sanskritization. Like that, you have caste system in Telangana, very strong, very rigid, established along with little tradition, and finally it is the deciding factor in family tradition, caste panchayats, caste mathas. You have caste mathas in Telangana. Kolanpaka is a center where you have all the caste mathas. Not only Jain center, you have Mala Matam, Madiga Matam, all some other BC mathas. These mathas are nothing but the centers of the caste. So this is another aspect of your Telangana caste. Even Golla itself, if you say cattle rearing one, you have 40 plus subcastes in Gollas, depending on different aspects of the cattle rearing or their residence. That is how we see the subdivision of caste. Another important aspect of our caste system is the pattern caste and dependent caste. Some castes are dependent on some castes. They go for begging, especially the depressed classes we call as scheduled caste today, or we call it as oppressed classes today. And as Ambedkar called it as depressed classes. These depressed classes are dependent on some or the other class. For example, some caste is singing a song that will go to one caste, that is Mudiraj. Only Mudiraj caste, they will go and beg with Mudiraj caste, or they will go and beg with Padmashali. They will not go to other caste people. That is the interesting feature of this pattern caste and dependent caste. In Telugu, we call it as Ashtrita Kulalu, Ashtraya Kulalu. Ashritamiche Kulalu anamata. Ashtrita Kulalu, they are dependent on particular caste. They go for begging for alms or some functions, annual festivals, everything, they depend on that particular caste. This is about the caste. And we have castes, general nomenclature like Brahmin, Vaishya, Reddy, Velama, Munnur, Kapu, Gowda, all these castes, upper caste or forward caste or other backward caste, with many names we divide it. If you divide it, basically Brahmin, you don't have Kshatriya. It's altogether another story why we don't have Kshatriya. But Vaishya you have. And all the other peasant castes which are part of Shudras are forming some are going into the other backward caste, some are coming into the forward caste like Reddy, Velama, Kamma. These castes which are basically agrarian castes, part of Shudra, becoming forward caste in the process. And some remaining in basic caste. So we have a huge list. In scheduled caste, you have 59 castes in Telangana. And in backward caste, we have Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, and we have various number of castes. If you see our notifications, you will understand what is the caste structure in Telangana. But the classification, how do you divide groups, these castes? Aboriginal tribes, Vimukta Jatis, are nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes are falling under Group A, and vocational groups into Group B, and Harijan converts into C, other classes into D. And the last one is that Group E, which is becoming educationally, socially backward Muslims. It is still pending with Supreme Court. So this is the basic structure of your caste system in Telangana. Castes and subcastes. Vaishnavism and Shaivism, both are making changes in the caste structure. Vaishnavism in one time, in one period, Shaivism in one period, have lifted the depressed classes, elevated to worshippers or priestly classes. That is very interesting. Like Satani Vallu, you have in Vaishnavism. You have in Jangamollu in Shaiva tradition. Nomadic Jangams becoming priestly class. Satani Vallu becoming a Vaishnavites, worshipping equally along with the Vaishnava people. So this is upliftment of class during Bhakti movement or in the latter period. Balija, especially the product of Veerashaiva, we can see. So this is about the caste system. Then talk about the tribes. We have scheduled tribes, 32 listed in the list. Then important things are Gonds. Gonds residing in Allahabad in our state, and they are, whenever we think about tribals, the what you call monotonous or the routine understanding is they don't wear clothes, they have quills of the birds, and they are completely uncivilized. They don't speak even any language. They just make sounds. This is what all our films and stupid things are telling. It's not like that. Tribes are also having different cultural aspects. We should respect and understand that. That is, we have Rajgonds among Gonds, which is a ruling clan. We have different clans. That is Madia Gond, Kondamadia, Bishohar. All these clans are there in Adilabad, Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra part. And Gondi language is one of the oldest language in Dravidian family. Language is Gondi. Their dance is Rela, Rela Rela Re, Rela Rela Re, a song by Jannatya Mandali which became popular in many places. That Rela is a tribal dance. They have headgear with this bison's horns, so horn headgear, and they have their own drums, they have their own instruments, and Gonds worship Nagoba. Remember Nagoba as a Nagadevata. Even Hinduism worships Nagoba. Even in Buddhism we have Nagamuchilinda. Tribals, that is Gonds worship Nagoa, Persapen, Akipen, Jenguba, all these are tribal, Gond tribal gods or goddesses. They worship sculpted images of gods made out of wood. That is a primitive thing. Basically, tribes have this culture. They worship this one. Then Dandari or Gusadi is a dance, very famous dance. After Deepavali they do. Then Nagoba Jatra, Tslprb. This is very famous Jatra like Medaram. Then Hymandorf, who came to Adilabad region after Komram Bhim's revolt, has given lot of information about the tribal culture to governments, reports, and he became part of the tribal life. So even today they worship in the sense they love Hymandorf like anything. And Hymandorf started Gond Darbar so that they can tell the grievances. So this is about Gonds cultural aspects. Then they are agriculturists. They did Podu and now moreover settled agriculture. And Komram Bhim and Ramji Gond, two heroes of different periods. 1860 Ramji Gond, 1940 Komram Bhim. And this is about the Gonds. Then come to Kolam, known as Kolavers. They are also in Adilabad and they are associated with Gonds in many ways, especially in religious functions. They have their own Ayaka Mata Ganadevata temple like that. Then Pardhan and Toti, this is another tribe. They are also associated with Gonds. They are storytellers, soothsayers. Storytelling means they will be singing songs, narrating songs, as we see the image on the screen, Toti singers. These Toti singers are nothing but they sing songs of heroes of Gonds and depend on them. And soothsaying, the future telling what will be the future, like that. This is a tribal understanding. Then Nayak Ports, again in Adilabad. Kondareddis, Khammam and Warangal. Nayak Ports, basically these people were into primitive agriculture style till 90s. They used wooden spades for ploughing, not even iron one. And their language is similar to Kolami. Gondi, Kolami and Nayak Port, all these languages are Dravidian languages, remember, to which our Telugu language also belongs to. Gondi, Kolami, Paraja, Gadaba, all these Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, all these are Dravidian languages. We have a common feature, that is Dravidian language. So Kondareddis, part of Khammam and Warangal. Podu cultivation, food gathering and cattle rearing. This is the most general aspect of any tribe who are in deep forests. And they used bamboo sticks to dig and spill seeds. That is the form of agriculture they did. Then comes Koyas of Warangal and Khammam. And Koya Devata, Koya Dora, we generally, even today we hear all these Koyas about it. They worship sun and moon. And many of the tribes, very interestingly, even Gonds and Koyas, they believe that they are the offspring of Bhima and Hidimba. When Pandavas came to Vanvasa, Hidimba's children are these tribals. We are not going in detail about the story, but in myth making, this is nothing but cultural integration of tribals into your Mahabharata story, we can see. Then, agriculture, soothsaying and herbal medicine. That is why even today, Koyadoralu, they give some medicine, Mulika Vaidyam Jassar. So this is about Koyas. Then Chenchu. This is a tribe which is still primitive in many areas, Nallamala area. Food gathering and hunting is the primitive most form of any tribal community. And food gathering means getting tamarind, getting all the products, forest products and giving it or selling, and it's barter actually. They don't sell and they don't get much money. So food gathering, hunting and agriculture, this is the basic thing. And you have subgroups like Adavi Chenchu, Bonta Chenchu, Ura Chenchu, Koya Chenchu, Yana Chenchu, all these things are subgroups. So Nallamala Hills, in Telangana you have Mahbub Nagar Chenchus. just a little part of Nalgonda in the Nalamala region you have Chenchus. So Garala Maisamma is one of the important deities of Chenchus. Apart from that, Bauramma, Mallanna. Bauramma is form of Brahmaramba of Srisailam and Mallanna. Mallanna, Mallikarjuna. And Bauramma temple festival is done on Shivratri day in Mahbubnagar, Baurapuram. Then come to last Lambadas. Lambadas have lot of spread in all the regions of Telangana, like you have Nalgonda, Rangareddy, Medak mainly, Adilabad also important, and there is a contradiction between Lambadas and local tribes because of the unsettled aspects. Then ST status of Lambadas were granted in 1976 by AP government. So before that they were not recognized as STs. So ST status 1976, and Lambadas, their cultural aspect is non-Dravidian. It is mostly related to North Indian. And Sevalal was their leader. Guru Sevalal Jayanti is observed in a big way. Bhog Bandar and all these things happen. Guru Sevalal, according to their legends, even Nizam was taking some of the advices from Guru Sevalal. Then worship of Jalmata, Tees festival, Shitla Mata, Bhavani, Shitla Bhavani festival, and finally integrating non-Lambada and Lambada cultures is Holi. During Holi, you see lot of Lambadas coming into areas and dancing. Holi Re Holi Ranga Holi, Shamba Kele Re Holi is a song they sing and integrate with this. So Holi is another important festival of Lambadas. Then finally, to culminate, I am not going to talk about each and every craft of Telangana. Nirmal artware, Bhuvanagiri wood carvings, as we can see, Cheryala scroll painting, and silver filigree. Silver filigree means I am not explaining wood carving means you can understand, but filigree you have to understand, making thin wires of silver, and with that you are embossing thin wire on the silver as handy items or jugs, pandans, plates, like that. So Bidri, ye Qutub Shahi, Bahmani period it started from Iran tradition. So all these crafts, as we see, Pemberti brass art, Hyderabad bangles, Lord Bazaar. Lord Bazaar means Lord means lakh. So pearls at Chandampet we have the drilling aspect. The pearls are drilled in Medak district Chandampet, and work on your sweets you have the thin foil of silver that is hit hundreds of times and you get that foil. World City is the center. Warangal Daris and handlooms and silks. Then come to our food, you have vibrant. Whenever we are talking about different aspects in Telangana history, we will talk about the foods. But to sum up the whole thing, Telangana had a distinctive culture. Geographically, first time, because first aspect is geographically, because of the terrain, because of the semi-arid zone, because of the hillocks, because of the rocks, because of the soils, and economic aspect which is formed because of this geographical aspect. Telangana's agriculture is also different, and tank based or minor irrigation based agriculture. So you have evolved a new type of thing from ancient period till modern period. You have a different historical ancestry in different periods, separated from Andhra in at least 600 to 800 years, completely separated. So we have a distinct historical ancestry, and culture definitely an aspect which comes out of all the economic and historical aspects. So the culture of Telangana is different from the other areas. So this is the vibrancy and identity of Telangana. In the next classes, we will be going into the detailed aspects of different aspects of Telangana.